Welcome to my views and news. Some news stories for you, mainly from Tigray conflict, Tigray Eritrea conflict. Firstly, an Eritrean ambassador talking to a news outlet said that war could resume in Tigray. And the reason for resumption could be support being given to the TPLF. While some international news outlets accuse Eritrea of being chief spoiler, Eritrea is accusing others who could be responsible for resumption of war in Tigray. Secondly, BBC has published an article about the presence of Eritrean military in Tigray. The article has some interesting pieces of information. Eritrean military ran a transport service in Tigray before the entry of ENDF, entry of federal forces in parts of Tigray. It was Eritrean military which was running a transport service in Tigray. Details for you. Firstly, viewers, Petros Sigai is Eritrean ambassador to Russia. He talked to a Russian news outlet. The interview was about upcoming Russia-Africa summit. In July, St. Petersburg will host African leadership, like Washington hosted African leaders a few weeks ago. An entire African leadership, except Isaias Afwerki, was in Washington, D.C. PM Abiy was there too, and other top leaders from Africa too. Now, Russia is planning to host African leaders for Africa-Russia summit. And TASS news agency, Russian news agency, interviewed Eritrean ambassador. And there he talked about the likelihood of participation of Isaias Afwerki, Eritrean president, in the summit. And Petros Segai talked about Tigray conflict to a war in northern Ethiopia as well. He said, war could resume in Tigray if West and US kept on supporting TPLF. So while the other side, West and US or some institutions backed by them, are accusing Eritrea of being chief spoiler, Eritrea says war could resume because of alleged support being given to TPLF by the West and US. What type of support is being given by US and West to TPLF these days? None, I think. Because, yes, TPLF, Tigray government did receive some support before the start of third round of fighting. I did some videos on that. They received some supplies of weapons. But since then, we have not seen any other type of support. Yes, moral support, diplomatic support, financial support is there. No military support. TPLF agreed to disarm. It agreed to stopping of war. It agreed to holding a new election in Tigray. So it made lots of concessions. Implementation is ongoing. So right now, US and EU are funding the implementation of peace deal, because disarmament, demobilization, reintegration of Tigray fighters require money. Who is giving this money? Obviously, EU and US. So they are trying to cement this deal. But Eritrea says they could be responsible if war resumed. Let's hope, let's pray that war does not resume. It's not in anyone's interest, not even in Eritrean interest as well. If there is war in Eritrean neighborhood, there'll never be peace and prosperity in Eritrea. People will keep on suffering. This 2-year-long Tigray conflict affected Eritrea as well. Conscription intensified, there no increase in their economic indicators. Their revenue went to military. So what did Eritrea gain? Only that TPLF was weakened, that Ethiopia was weakened. But can we say that Eritrea is economically stronger now? No. Militarily, you can say, but economically, the situation is the same. You can rather say that Eritrea is weaker economically now if you compare today's Eritrea and Eritrea of 2 years ago. It means that war is weakening everyone. Permanent, lasting peace can only ensure prosperity in this region. Secondly, was BBC published an interesting article a few hours ago. A reporter interviewed people, I think by phone, in Shire, Aksom, Adwa. Firstly, according to the article, the military is still in Tigray. They are in the outskirts of main cities, like outskirts of Shire, outskirts of Aksom, Adwa as well. Some are inside cities as well, but mainly they're out of cities, and they are there. As I reported, they are along the road, Shire to Shirara road, Shire to Adi Dairo, Adi Nabred, they are there. And some can be seen in cities as well. They are fond of eating mangoes. They've been seen buying mangoes at Tigray's markets, Shire's markets. And secondly, Eritrean military has been running a transport service in Tigray called Betah. Eritrean vehicles were used for this transport service. Tigrayans traveled using this transport service of Eritrean military. And Eritrean military charged lots of money to the travelers. It has been reported that they charged 300 birds for travel from Shire to Adi Daro, Shire to Adi Nabrid. So they made money. Eritrean transport service made money. Tigrayans they did not have any options. There was no transport service in Tigray. Now, when ENDF is in control of some areas and Ethiopian federal forces have entered, federal police as well, gradually transport service is resuming in Tigray. But Eritrean military did make money by running Betah in parts of Tigray. So again, a confirmation that Eritrean military is still in Tigray. What about the observers of Africa Union, IGAD? Where are they? They were due to compile a report about implementation of peace deal. They were shown heavy weapons collected by Tigray in Agula, and they were due to report about the withdrawal of Eritrean military from Tigray, withdraw otherwise. But we have not seen any report. We have not heard of any report compiled by the observers. Where are they? 3 officers from South Africa, from Kenya and Nigeria, nowhere to be seen. And African Union is silent as well. So while international media is now covering what we have been reporting, that Eritrean military, though it withdrew from in cities of Tigray, it's still in Tigray. International media is confirming that, but the observers, the monitors of peace deal are nowhere to be seen. Let's hope that they appear and tell the people what is reality on the ground. Who is hampering the implementation of peace deal, TPLF or Eritrea? Both are accusing each other of being spoilers, but we're waiting for the report of neutral party, and that is observers deployed by African Union. Thank you for watching.